Hello and welcome in. Happy Wednesday. This is your live chat for TPC Summerlin, the Shriners Children's Open. If you want to talk about the Andalucia Masters, that is all good. Or we can talk about really anything you want. This time is yours. Questions, concerns, comments, get them in the chat right now. This is a special one for me, obviously, and I mentioned this on Monday. This is the golf course that I'm most familiar with. I get my lessons out of TPC Summerlin. I have not missed this event in years. I already have been asked, hey, Rick, where are you going to be this week? I want to meet up. Unfortunately, this is the first time I am going to be missing the Shriners, regrettably. But I've got a pretty good excuse. In just a few hours here, Mina and I are headed to the airport. We are going to hop on a 15-hour flight, and we are going to arrive in Australia. And this is a trip that if you ask Mina, is 15 years in the making from when she studied abroad there. If you ask me, we literally booked it a year ago. So it's a year in the making. So it's going to be really special. It's a bucket list, once in a lifetime opportunity. And we're going to have a lot of fun. The other thing is still planning on doing all the Rick Run Good stuff, right? We've gotten very good at creating content and making sure all the data is updated from the road. Even if that means me waking up at 2:00 in the morning, that will get done. So all the content will still be on schedule for Zozo. And then I believe Worldwide Technologies Championship. So looking forward to getting out there, obviously, in a big way. A couple things that we always start the shows with. Let's start with the weather. And there is something interesting that's happening here on Friday. So we're getting that it's basically like a weather change almost. So this happens around seasonal changes in Las Vegas is you get like a couple of days of strong winds. It might be cooler weathers. It might be whatever. But as the seasons change, we get some of these windier days. And that's exactly what's happening on Friday. So Thursday, mid 80s, sunny, no problem there. Friday, significantly cooler. 15 degrees cooler with winds upwards of 25 to 27 miles an hour. I will tell you, when it whips in Las Vegas, it whips, right? The wind comes down off the mountains through the valley. It gets cooking. It's strong. We don't usually see it at TPC Summerlin, but it looks like that is in the forecast for this week. And then you see cooler conditions the rest of the week. The wind is really the only defense out there on this golf course. It's in perfect shape. It is huge greens that are now 2 years into the bent grass, the new bent grass on there. They're rolling incredibly pure. It is not going to play long to these guys because they're also at 2,000 feet of elevation. It is going to be a birdie fest. They're going to hit a lot of wedges in here. The wind is the only thing that often can play defense. So it'll be interesting to see. Now, if you're looking at a stacking ability. So let's look at this. So Thursday afternoon is probably going to be okay. The wind starting to come in and really gust more of a Friday morning situation. But I think if you're looking at this, Thursday morning, Friday afternoon is probably better because Thursday morning, you're going to get seemingly nothing. And then around 4 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the wind starts to kick up, starts to roll in, stays throughout the night, stays into Friday morning, and starts to dissipate. That's a good word. Around 1, 2 o'clock, it starts to get a little bit weaker and it starts to get out of the system moving forward after that. So I believe that Thursday morning, Friday afternoon is probably better. I will warn that Las Vegas and the Valley, there's like a lot of microclimates. There are times where it might be hailing in one spot and 2 miles down the road, it is beautiful. And then whatever happens in Henderson, it's just like completely different. There's a lot of microclimates. So you can really wait as long as possible. But if this holds, I believe it's going to be Thursday morning, Friday afternoon. If you want to deploy that, the waves are loaded into the custom model. So you can see the waves in here. And then when you go to build your lineups, if you wanted to say, give me 6 golfers from Thursday AM, Friday PM only, you could do that. Or you could say, give me at least 4 golfers from the Thursday AM wave that is how you would use this. And then it would build lineups accordingly, also based on other things that you put in. So the waves are in there if you did want to stack, if you did want to eliminate some guys because it looks like they're going to be on the wrong side of the weather. And then that's all we can control, right? We don't know what tee times are going to be Saturday and Sunday for some of these guys, but there is wind in the forecast basically Saturday morning, and it starts to move out and starts to get out of here. And then we get kind of that mid 80s weather again. So a little bit of a system rolling in. Okay. Next up, the other thing that we always do is we look at the one and done ownership. I know there's probably not a lot of you are playing fall. Actually, I know there are a lot of you that are playing fall one and dones. And even if you're not, it's good to know what the industry is starting to do. So no surprise that Tom Kim, the back-to-back champion, is checking in at about 25% projected ownership. He's going to be the most selected golfer in your one and dones this week, with Cam Davis checking in at 13%. He's kind of in a tier of his own. And then look at this, 3 golfers at the same number. This will obviously be a little bit different, but the same number, 10.8%, Adam Hadwin, Taylor Pendrith, Steven Yeager. The surprise there is probably Adam Hadwin. I know he's had a lot of great success at TPC Summerlin, but he has not been playing his best golf as of late. And then Tom Hoagie, Bo Hostler, and Harry Hall are the only other golfers who are trending over 5% right now. Everybody else is sub 5%. Okay. Now, final thought here. We've got to do a little bit better. And I say all of us have got to do a little bit better. I did not mention it on the Monday show. That's on me. We've got to fill these listener leagues, right? On Splash. It's $20. There are 42 spots remaining. It is completely guaranteed. If we could fill this for this week, it would be great. I've been winning a lot. You guys are letting me win all this free money that is guaranteed by not putting your entries in. And I know, during the calendar year, before the fall schedule, we were filling these with ease, 300, 400, 500 people, so on and so forth. I know not a lot of people are maybe paying as much attention, but we gotta be able to fill 150 here. So let's rock and roll. All right. The questions. I'm going to scroll back up to the top, but this one caught my eye. Tyler sent a super chat, which is never required, always appreciated. It says, hey, simply thanks for all your content and help. Since we're here, who would you have your top 1 or 2 picks for outright winner this week? Okay, Tyler. So first off, thank you. That's very sweet. You don't need to send that, but I appreciate the gesture. So here's what I would do. And basically everything you see from here on out will be from my website, rickrungood.com. I'm not ready. I like Tom Kim this week, but I'm not going to bet him outright at 12-1. I think that there are still a couple of concerns, and I believe that there are probably another 24 golfers that are very, very live to win this. So I am looking at a very like win equity versus the odds that you're able to get on these golfers. Obviously, Cam Davis is kind of top of mind there. I think that he is far enough down the board. I've seen him at 25. I've seen him at 30. I've seen him at 35-1 for this week. He is absolutely talented enough to win this golf tournament. He just won the Rocket Mortgage. He has a lot of different skills that can get it done. And I think he is low-key better on golf courses that he is able to club down on off the tee. That's one. The second one is a little bit more difficult. I think I would probably settle on Bo Hostler. He has been really close, really knocking at the door. He has played well here in the past, right? Let's check up his Shriner stuff. T7 last year. He's never missed a cut. He's never lost strokes putting. He also had a 7th back in 2017. He was very close at the Sanderson. He's just had a good run since the Wyndham Championship, and it's not completely run by putting. In fact, his tee to green numbers have been very, very good. So those are probably my first and second candidates, Tyler, to answer your question. Hat tip, honorable mention to Matt McCarty. I don't think it's super crazy to think that he goes back to back. Skill set wise, he's won 4 out of his last 10. I don't need to rehash all of that. So probably an honorable mention to Matt McCarty. All right, let's get into this. If the wind is forecast to decrease steadily over the day on Saturday, which it is, does it make sense to bet the outrights on round 2 leaders? Oh, Jason. Okay, I understand what you're saying. So Jason is saying the guys that are in the lead after 36 are the guys who are playing the best, and they are also seemingly going to get the better end of the conditions, which means they should stay there. I get what Jason is saying here. I think that passes the sniff test, right? That is logical. You will have to do it. Well, one, you'll want to make sure that this forecast holds, but you'll want to make sure you probably do it. It's weird, as close to the end of round 2 as possible, because once round 3 starts, if those guys are struggling, those numbers are going to continue to move. So you've got to be a little bit confident in your forecast, but I think that checks out on the logic. C-Pup says, hi, Rick. Thanks for sharing the Hawaii video. Looks like a beautiful place to visit. And then he says, please rate in order Damon, Hoey, and Justin Suh. So yeah, the Hawaii video, if you don't know what C-Pup is referring to, I've probably vlogged 6 or 8 different trips, events, golf tournaments, whatever, for this year. The Masters, PGA Championship. Mina and I went to Hawaii, Montreal for the President's Cup. I either sent them out in my newsletter or I sent them out to members of the YouTube channel. So if you haven't seen them, they're available there. I'll get them back out into the email newsletter. You can sign up. It's just kind of something fun for me to do, and hopefully gives you a little bit. I try to do like behind the scenes stuff, which I think is interesting. There's one from Greensboro, which was the Wyndham. So there's at least 5 or 6 in there. For me, it is probably Hoey, Suh, and Damon. Let's talk about why. So Rico, I think, is probably just playing the best golf. I also know, I cannot remember. I always confuse whether he is actually or they're all technically members because it's a TPC. I don't know how often he plays out of here, but I know he plays TPC Summerlin somewhat frequently. He has been great. Hasn't missed a cut since the US Open. Great driver. The putter is starting to turn around after losing 7 strokes in Jackson. He goes and picks up a stroke at the Black Desert Championship. I think that there are enough similarities between last week and this week that you should be pretty confident. Justin Suh absolutely plays out of TPC Summerlin. And while he's been struggling on the PGA Tour, he is still one of the best bent grass putters that we have. He's very familiar with this golf course. His play has started to get a little bit better after the 3 missed cuts and like 7 out of 8 that he had during the summer. So I'm starting to get a little bit more bullish on Justin Suh. And then Joel Damon, I just, every time I see him, it looks like he's lost, admittedly. He'll have these days where he will fire. I mean, you saw it last week. Picks up 6 strokes on approach over the first 2 rounds. Just cannot get the ball in the hole. Lost, 6 strokes putting, right? Just offsets 2 strokes or 3 strokes around on approach is just unbelievably elite level stuff. And you give all of that back and then some with the putter, it's just a really tough combination. The results aren't there. He's a third for me. Does the 2025 Ryder Cup ticket include taxes and fees? I don't know, Justin. So obviously this week, the pricing came out for Bethpage. It was immediately just kind of crapped on. It was very, very expensive, like $250 for a practice round. I think it was like $450 for Thursday. And then competition days were like $750. I mean, it's a lot. I don't think it might include taxes and fees because they were very odd numbers. It was like $7.51 and 27 cents. I don't know that. I know that it does include non-alcoholic drinks and food. I don't think it includes parking or anything like that. So I would assume if you're buying a $750 ticket, you are going to at least be in like $1,000, at least $850 with parking and everything else that's going to go on for those days. So I don't know about the taxes and fees though. Can we get a deep dive on Carl Yuan? Sure. Why not? It's your show. It's not mine. Let's rock and roll. Even if it was my show, I wouldn't mind looking at Carl. So look at what's going on here. This is where we have to make a decision. Is this statistical noise or did he find something? Carl Yuan, very bad putter. Look at this. Just miserable putter. One of the worst in this field, one of the worst on the PGA Tour. Loses 3, 4, 5 strokes putting every single week except last week, where he gained 7 strokes putting, which I'm certain is the most in his career, and it is. And he lost 5 on approach. So this to me looks noisy, I'm going to say, because it's very unlikely he is going to gain 7 strokes with the putter again. It is still fairly likely that he's going to lose multiple strokes on approach as he has in 5 of his last 7. You have your by far your best career putting week and you finish T11. History here, he can't putt on these greens either. Can't really putt on any greens. I would be very worried about this. I would be very worried about Carl Yuan. Is General Patton, that's Patton Kizzire, A good play at $6,500. Yeah, so I think there's still plenty to squeeze out of Kizzire. This is a conversation that we have had a handful of times over the past couple of weeks. I'm sorry. I was going to say I don't think he's 6,500. It says at 65 to 1. That's on me, Jake. I misread that or mispronounced it. So let's look at this. Really good positive putting numbers. That is kind of what drives the ship a little bit for Kizzire recently. Around the green play has been solid, though. You hope he doesn't have to pick up 2 or 3 strokes. He's picked up, 7.5, 8 strokes on approach in his last 12 rounds. I think there is still plenty of positives. He's been a very good tee to green player. 65 to 1 is probably too long for a guy who has 3 top 11 finishes in his last 7 starts. 6 starts, 1 of them was a win. The metrics are still very good, right? So sure, I'm happy to roll with that. Is the course tougher this year as a whole, or is the wind the main difference? I would argue the course is probably easier this year without the wind. And the reason I say that is I was just out there, I don't know, 10 or 12 days ago, something like that. It's the last time I saw it. Just mint. Absolutely. The greens, I've never seen the greens so mint. Guy, if you can start it on your line, the putt is going in. Okay. So from that stand, and also remember, they made these greens bigger. It's a very easy golf course in general. There's no rough out there. I think it is slightly easier because of the shape and the condition that it is in. Those winds are going to be tough. 25-mile-an-hour winds with gusts. That is a multiple club wind. If that comes through, that should keep things in check a little bit. They should still be able to take it apart on Thursday, still be able to take it apart on Sunday, probably most of Saturday, if those conditions hold. But the wind is going to be a problem. Anywhere in the world, if you just add a 25-mile-an-hour wind, it's going to be a problem. Rank the following: Berger, Lauer, and Shipley. Wow. 3 names that you wouldn't expect to be on the same list. We'll start with Berger because I was quite high on him last week. I thought maybe we were trying to catch him early. That did not end up being the case. He finished T35, and I'll tell you what, I shouldn't say that. I should take that back. He still gained strokes in all 4 categories, which is rare to do back-to-back weeks on the PGA Tour. That is still a really good sign. He got off to a really bad start. Didn't play well on Sunday. The middle rounds were awesome. I think Berger still has to be number 1. Okay. I'm big on Shipley. So Shipley Monday cues into this and gets a $7,200 price tag. Neil Shipley, we don't know what he is yet, but what we've seen is very, very legit. T13 at the Procore in Napa, T6 at the ISCO. Has made 4 straight cuts, has gained strokes off the tee in every event since the Masters, has gained strokes on approach in 5 out of 6. The putter all over the place. I love Neil Shipley. So I think it is Berger, Shipley, kind of close to one another. Then I think there's probably a gap to Lauer. That's the way that I would do it. Brendon Todd is 75 to 1 this week. Thoughts on him? Yeah, I'm in on Todd. I think this is a good golf course for him. And one of the few good golf courses for him, right? Do I think he's going to win? It's probably unlikely. Remember, he's gone nuts in the fall before. That was years ago. But look what we've got here. We've got a prolific putter who, on a golf course that rewards great putting, he has been very good on these greens. He's got 2 top 28 finishes, including a 12th in his last 4 trips. Obviously, the caveat there is he doesn't play here often. 2022, 2029, 2015, 2013, 2012. So goes back a very long way. He is going to make plenty of noise in the short game categories. We need this. We need a Wyndham Championship approach week. Just be a 0. Just be a 0 off the tee. This is not a long golf course. If he can keep it in play, keep it out of the desert, he's going to get a lot of wedge opportunities. He's going to get a lot of putting opportunities. He's very good from 125 yards and in. This is one of the few places you probably want to get Brendon Todd here. So maybe I like him better as a top 10 play, but 75 to 1, certainly worth your consideration. Rick got in on the ground floor with his Ryder Cup hat. Going to be $500 a lid moving forward. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I've also got a. So this is from Rome. I've got while in Rome, I met up with one of the reps from Adair Manor. and they already had the 2025 Adair Manor hat. So I've got one of those as well, or maybe two. Maybe I have two of those, which is kind of sick. So yeah, I'll have to get one for, or no, I guess it would be 2027. Yeah, I was gonna say that's not far enough. So 2027. Yeah, by that point, that's probably $1,000 hat by that point. Will Thursday AM with Thursday AM being critical for Showdown, any leans in the data? All right, so let's look at this. So what I'll do is here's the way that I'll do this. I'm just going to load my model from Monday. Okay. And then we are going to, I got to go through and name these a little bit better. Here it is. And then we're going to look at golfers who are in the early wave. So my top two golfers, Brendon Todd, Tom Kim, are what should be the bad wave. Harris English is third. JT Poston is sixth. And then we get a run of morning people. Taylor Pendrith, Ryan Moore, Seamus Power, Austin Eckroat, Matt Kuchar, Harry Hall. Those are the golfers that are on the AM wave that are inside my top 15 in terms of the model that I created on Monday. If we sort this by salary, Kitayama does not score well for me, and he's in the PM wave. Hoagie is in the PM. So really, Pendrith, Seamus Power, and Eric Hole are the most expensive, the only three golfers over 9K that are in, quote, the good wave, if that ends up being the good wave. But wow, you might see a little bit of carnage this week. Not going to lie. Not going to lie. Enjoy the shrimp on the barbie, Rick. Thank you, mate. Is there any way to see who is suffering most from high winds? I can look at the tee times, but we're not going to get into wind data just yet. Just yet. I saw in your newsletter. Everyone should subscribe. Thank you, Daniel. Links in the description. That Coles is tops in the putting model you created. That's right. With his good ball striking numbers in the fall swing, is he a play at just $7,000? I read that in a way that I just imagined Daniel reading it. All right, let's look together. Also, Mina doesn't know this yet, but I've considered adding a second newsletter each week, maybe twice a week. I don't know. We'll see. I think I would like a Monday and I don't know. Let me think about that. I got a long plane ride coming along. So what did you hear from the other room? What? Okay. Good news is that Daniel is correct. Since the U.S. Open, he's been a very good tee to green player. In fact, let's just look at the last, 36 rounds from tee to green. That's going to be like 8 starts for these guys. I wonder if that is good enough to get Ben Coles kind of up here towards the top. Where are you, Ben? Did I scroll past you, mate? Here he is. Okay, gaining 0.29. Oh, yeah, he's given up a little bit around the greens. He's much better in the ball striking categories, half stroke there. Then we've got the bent grass putting numbers. That's what one of the things we were looking at in the model was. Here he is. Yeah, 0.84. I mean, he is just running balls into the cup on pure bent grass greens. You know, listen, there's 100 and some odd golfers in this field. You can't have an opinion on all of them. But when you look at this and say, can he get better than his recent results? Is this better or worse than what we've seen over the last 6 or 7 weeks? I think that this is probably better. So, yeah, fire him up. Yo, Rick, who's going back to back? Are we going back to back lefty wins? Who is it this week? Well, who are the lefties in the field this week? Well, we could go back to Matt McCarty. We could go to none of these guys are left-handed. Unless I'm missing somebody. None of these guys are not Bridgman. Bridgman? No. I always confuse Bridgman and Highsmith. Highsmith is left-handed. Here he is. Highsmith is left-handed. Oh boy. Yeah. If a lefty wins, it's going to be Matt McCarty again. I think Matt McCarty's got a great chance. I'm not going to lie to you. I think he has a great chance. Bryce Garnett? Why do I always think he's left-handed? I don't think he is. Garrick Higo, lefty. When I was in Canada, all I played with was left-handed people. It's the hockey thing, right? There's so many lefties up there. Ricky Sanderson result was surprisingly intriguing. Okay. I wanted to see, because he switched a lot of stuff in his bag, didn't he? Went with the mini driver, I believe. Also went with a different putter and maybe one other thing. I can't remember exactly, but you're not wrong. It was a very good performance. T16, which he gained across the board. The driver he kept in play. The putter was good for the first time in a while, and he gained strokes on approach, 1.5 for the first time since the Rocket Mortgage. We've not seen Ricky play a lot, right? Doesn't play, doesn't get into the playoffs. This is the first time, or the Sanderson event was the first time he teed it up in the fall. So oh boy, I've vowed to be late on Ricky, and for 2 years it's been fine. But with equipment changes, with a stat profile like this, let's see what he's done at Shriners. Oof. 3 missed cuts in a row, but good stuff before that. And he's never lost strokes putting here. Let's call it very cautiously optimistic. I see a path. Why doesn't every college have a swinging mascot hat? They're tough to find. Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of a lesson here, or a little bit of a tip. I too love these hats. You're right. Every team, or at least every golf team, men's and women's, they should have a swinging whatever. So Louisville has the swinging Louis. App State. So I saw a guy at Wyndham. He was wearing a hat. I was like, what hat is that? He's like, App State, Appalachian State has a swinging Yosef. It's awesome. Swinging Jonathan for UConn. I think it's swinging Al, Big Al for Alabama. There are others I'm blanking on. Here, usually this is the key to getting them. They're usually not, Swinging Pete, obviously, for Oklahoma State. They're usually not available to the public. But if you make a donation to the men or to the men's or women's golf team, that is usually how you can get one. So it's going to be expensive because you're going to donate like $100, or some places you're going to donate like $500, but you'll probably get a shirt, a hat, something else. You know what I mean? That is the best way to get one because they are mostly team issued. Congrats on a home game this week. Is there any young debutants besides McCarty who's piquing your interest this week? Ooh, okay. That's a good question. So let me zoom out a little bit. I'm zoomed in so that you guys can see better, but I do this at 100% on my screen so that I can see everything. Ooh, debuts. Okay, let's hold. I'm going to click Chan Kim's name, and I'm going to come back to that. I'm just trying to go through. I want to look at Ben Silverman's profile. I want to look at Patrick Fishburne's profile. And I want to look at Joe Highsmith's profile. Chan Kim probably doesn't putt well enough. Just kind of mediocre there. Ben Silverman, very good putter, just finished 4th in Napa. Good tee to green play, good putting. That's all the aspects. Would not mind Ben Silverman. Fishburne, gosh, really disappointing. So this is interesting, right? This is the absolute like sicko event that Patrick Fishburne wins. When you're on a guy for 2 straight weeks after coming off of a really good run, disappoints everybody at the black a home game for him. I've talked this week about how similar this course and last week are, kind of. I should give him one more chance. I'm probably not going to. I should. He probably wins. I am concerned that he's losing strokes on approach. And then Joe Highsmith, who made a run last week, look at this guy. Here's the thing. I don't know how long he's been doing the reverse pencil grip, right hand low. I don't know how long he's been doing that, but if it just started last week, I'm really interested because he picked up 6 shots from tee to green, or I'm sorry, 6 strokes putting, and was making a lot of putts. That was very, very interesting. So Highsmith has my attention. In fact, I'm going to click favorite on his name because he's picked up strokes on approach in 4 straight and gained 6 with the putter last week. And I'm hoping that putting stroke is new for him. Top 3 to finish inside the top 30. Neil Shipley will get you a good number. Joe Highsmith will probably get you a good number. And Rico Hoey will probably get you a good number. Can we get a quick look at the Andalucia Masters? Oh, okay. So I'm not ready to do the hole by hole breakdown yet, but the course key stats page is about to get a big infusion of basically every course in my database, right? So right now it's been a long, arduous process to get all the information in there, make sure it's accurate and all that fun stuff. So that'll be coming soon. But while we're here, let's pull up the cheat sheet on the Andalucia Masters. And you'll see John Rahm is, he's the heavy favorite, obviously. He's the most expensive. He's 11,900. I could argue he should be more expensive than that. Rasmus is next. Matt Wallace is third. So we could do this a couple of different ways. We could build some models here. So I think probably the best way to do this, because you are getting golfers from all over the place, is to rock the Andalucia Masters and then do a build that looks like, but like more 15 on weighted strokes gained total. Let's get rid of these. We're just going to have to probably stick, because not all these guys have the same level of stats. So we're probably just going to have to run with strokes gain metrics here. So what we'll do is, where's that other 8 hiding? There we go. Okay. We're going to do this. We're going to put 25 on strokes gained 3+, 25 on 4+, 25 on 5+. John Rahm's probably going to be number 1. He is. Okay. Look at this. So David Pugh, that's how you say his name. I'm going to click his profile. I'm very interested in that. Rahm is number 1 in this model. McKibben 2, Pugh 3, Lawrence 4, Bairstow 5, Jesper Sven. I'm going to click his name too because he's been really good. Tom Valiant. I don't know how he pronounces that. I probably butchered it. Rasmus Neergaard Peterson, and then Dan Bradbury and Rasmus Højgaard. Here's what we got to look at. David Pugh. Yeah, this is what I thought he'd been doing. Okay. He had a decent live golf season. Finished 3rd in Houston, 11th in the UK, 13th at Greenbrier. Played a lot of other events though. Played in Asia on the Asian Tour earlier this year, had back-to-back top 5s. Played a couple of majors, played the Olympics, and then look what he did. Look what he's done recently. Open de España. He's Spanish, by the way. Finished 3rd there. Unbelievable metrics. Goes to the Alfred Dunhill Links. Remember, these are only 2 measured rounds at this event. Finishes T4, gains 4.4 from tee to green. Here's the ad for rickrungood.com right here. 6 tours with strokes gain metrics. This is the ad. Because if you're only looking at PGA Tour numbers for David Pugh, you have nothing. Even if you include the Olympics, you have 1 start. This is Live Golf. This is DP World Tour. It is the Asian Tour. It is the Olympics. It's the PGA Tour. David Pugh is the ad. Okay. And I really like the way he's setting up for this. So everyone's going to focus on the Spanish thing. Andalucia, John Rahm. David Pugh might be the guy that you want here. Okay. Really interested in that. And then Jesper Svensson, he's made me a little bit of money recently. Okay. Yeah. So runner up at the Czech Masters, 5th at the British Masters, missed 2 cuts back-to-back at the Omega Masters and the BMW PGA Championship, and now starting to get back on track. Look what he did at Le Golf National. Picked up 4.5 strokes on approach, another 3 off the tee, finds a little bit of a hot putter, and he can make a little bit of noise here. Has he played this event? Does not look like it. Okay. Those would be the 2. Svensson and Pugh, I'm like highly intrigued with for this week. I'm going to favorite them just so I don't forget. Where's Svensson? Oh, I'm on the cheat sheet. I want to go back to the custom model. Here we go. There we go. Okay. Let's ride. I'm playing 20 lineups this week. How many, if any, would you stack? If that forecast comes through, like 15 of them, right? There's no rain because, or there's no rain in the forecast. So there's no concern that it gets delayed and the wrong guys get on the wrong end of the draw. I'm pretty high risk. I would say like 15, or you could do it where, 15 lineups have at least 4. You could say at least 4, right? And that'll give you 4. Sometimes it'll give you 5. Sometimes it'll give you all 6 guys. If you didn't want to go that crazy, you could do at least 4. Any interest in playing Carson Young? Ooh, I doubt it, but let's confirm. Let's look. I'm not afraid to look. It's better than I thought. He has gained on approach in 4 straight, but they've been minimal gains. Played well at the Black Desert, but really had one of his pop putting weeks, which he rarely goes back to back on. I don't know what the opposite of, like when I say, is there juice to squeeze out of this? Like where do you see him improving? I see him I see more paths for him regressing. So what's the opposite of juice to squeeze? Like we're putting juice back in the orange. I don't know what that is. Looking for 2 to fill a couple of teams. I would go, so so for those who aren't watching, it's Highsmith, Hoey, Neesmith, and Hardy. For me, Highsmith, I think is going to be great. Hardy, I don't think this is a good spot for him, but I think he's playing great golf. And then Hoey, I think it's those 3. It's not Neesmith for me. I know that he's got good history here or whatever, but that's not for me. I would probably go Highsmith, Hardy. Hardy might be onto something, guys. Really might be onto something. But I wouldn't mind if you wanted to go with Hoey as well. Does Eric Cole have it in him to bring home a W this week? Oh boy. The $1 million question that I've asked myself countless times over the last 2 years. Does Eric Cole have it in him to win? Picks up 10 strokes on approach. My God, at the Sanderson Farms. And of course he can't putt, which is one of the things that he's usually quite good at. Very good putter. Bent is his second best surface. Wedge play is generally very good. Doesn't pitch well, but those more fuller shots, those like 75 to 100 seems to be a little bit better for him. I mean, probably not. Probably doesn't win. God, why can't he win? Is it because he's short and inaccurate? It's really kind of the problem, right? Outside the top 100 in distance and accuracy, that's really the problem. And if he finds the desert, good luck. God. Yeah, I don't think so, but it is pretty appealing. If you could reprice the 9 and 10K guys, who moves up and who moves down? I would probably move down. I would probably swap Yeager and Davis Thompson. I love Davis Thompson, but I really don't think he should be 10,300. If you want me to go lower, I think McCarty should probably be like 95. I think that Hoagie, on paper, this is a good spot for him, but he could switch with Bo Hostler. I think Cam Davis should probably switch with like Keith Mitchell, quite honestly. How do I sign up for Splash? Link is in the description. It's now like fully operational, legal, regulated in 40 plus. I can't remember the exact number, 40 plus states, DC, and most of Canada. I think the only place you can't do it in Canada is Quebec. But other than that, it's there rocking and rolling, and it's where we have our listener league. It's where we've had our one and done. It's where we've got our survivor stuff for NFL. They do a really nice job. Does Mina have a pick this week? Oh boy. Mina? She's coming. She said, I might. Cam Davis. Lock of the century. She went with an Aussie. Good job. Haven't heard much about Harris English, but at $7,900 and based on high upside, he has to be a good play. Wouldn't you agree? I always like when questions are framed like that. Here's a little trick. If you're trying to get somebody to agree, I always say this. I say, do you have any objections to me stealing your car and punching you in the face? And people are like, no, I don't have any objections to that. Like that's such a strong thing. Like, do you have any objections? Like, oh, no, I don't have any objections. People say no, just let you do whatever you want. Wouldn't you agree? Asks Ryan. Well, now I feel like I'm privy to agree. Good news. This is very similar to Daniel Berger. Harris English, when he's playing his best, I've said this a billion times, is an all-around player. Bad news is we need more on the tee to green stuff than we do on the putting. right? So he picks up 9.1 strokes last week. More than half of them come with the putter. That's a little bit concerning, especially because the putter has not really been that hot. Got a couple pop weeks here and there, but he had lost 2 in a row before that. Was a small winner in Memphis. Let me see. Yeah, kind of a mixed bag. Doesn't putt well here. Does not putt well here. Best finish since 2016 is a T28. He had some good finishes prior to that, but I will pass. See you at Sea Island. Based on the next 10 incentive and recent form, who looks like they will be on the mix in Sunday for a top 10? Well, everybody's got the incentive, right? Everybody's got to try to get themselves in. Bo Hostler is always one of those guys that he's in that next 10. He's got to hold on to his spot. I'm sure like Matt McCarty doesn't have that. Eric Cole doesn't have that because I believe Eric Cole is a top 50 guy already. Probably Power. I don't know what his ranking is at the moment, but he feels like a guy that would be on that list just outside. Have a blast in Australia. All right, mate. Is Grillo better than the Todd father? I don't think so, but let's look. Let's look at Emiliano. I'm pretty high on Brendon. Yeah, this isn't as good as he used to be. He just used to be a lock to gain 4, 5, or 6 strokes ball striking. We're nowhere near that. We still have a putter problem. We've got some good results, or some okay results. I don't see this. I would much prefer Brendon Todd. For me, I play Ryan Fox when the greens are bent or when he can hit stingy fairway finders. Heck yeah. This plays 1 out of 2 factors. Do we stay and play on Fox? Actually, I've been playing quite a bit of Ryan Fox as of late, and it's hasn't really burned me. A New Zealander, a Kiwi, as they say. Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. I'm not as excited as I was in other places, but I get you. I mean, I've played him recently and he's been fine, but I don't think I have a hot take. Okay. I'm at the end of the questions. If you want to fire them up. While we do that, I am going to run through the underdog portion of the show. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Neil Shipley. So it looks like they only have finishing positions available at the moment, which I will admit, I will never lie to you guys. Building multiple legs of finishing positions at these prices is probably not good. Now, the caveat being, if you are in a state where you cannot just bet these outright, and this is all that you have, great. You will probably be taking a little bit of a hit, as you can imagine, on the odds. But if this is all you have access to, that's fine. What are the betting laws in Australia? While I'm looking at this, I'll just tell you guys that I am bullish on or that I'm not bullish on. One is Nick Taylor that I am bullish on. So his 1.54x for a top 20. And let's talk about why. Banned. How can it be banned? They're constantly pushing like.
Ban applies to Australian bookies based and regulated in Australia.
Oh, so they can be somewhere else.
Overseas, they freely offer in-play betting.
Wow.
Bet on live matches.
So like I can bet like there's probably like William Hill or something. Okay. If you're Nick Taylor and you have any chutzpah, you've got to play well this week. You have to. Doesn't get on the President's Cup team, needs to make a ton of noise, played better at Black Desert, played much better. In fact, that was probably the best stat profile we've seen from him in a long time. The bar is very low, but Nick Taylor a year ago would have maybe been the best player in this field. Him or Tom Kim, right? It's just that level of play we saw from him early in the year. He's got it. Like Nick, if he's got pride, and I know he does, this is the week. Cam Davis, we've already talked about, pretty high on that. I am pretty warm on JJ Spawn. I don't think we've talked about JJ Spawn. He's played one bad round basically in the last 6 months and he withdrew. Like, I'm not going to beat him up over that. And then right after the WD, he finishes T25. And yes, there is juice to squeeze here. There's about 3 strokes with the putter that he can squeeze out of this. I'm quite bullish here. So I'm going to click just for kicks, JJ Spawn top 10. Let's do top 20. I probably wouldn't touch the Tom Kim number. Probably wouldn't touch the Novak number. The Harry Hall number is kind of interesting because he's got 3 great starts here. He plays out of TPC Summerlin. He's been playing great golf. Played 3 really good rounds last week. So I guess I'm just putting together a top 20 situation here. Probably staying away from Adam Hadwin. No on these guys. No here, no here. Bo would be pretty interesting. So let's round it out with this. Let's do Bo's top 20 number. Oh, we can fade somebody too. We could say Seamus. Seamus has not played well here. Okay, so there's sometimes the home game is not good. He's going to have a big crowd with him. They're going to be waving the Irish flags. And I know Seamus has been playing really good golf as of late, but there's a chance he does, like, miscut 21st, miscut 41st, 57th. Yikes. So let's just for kicks. If we said fade Seamus, doesn't finish inside the top 25. So those 5, Nick Taylor, JJ Spawn, Harry Hall, and Bo Hostler to finish inside the top 20 with Seamus Power to not finish inside the top 20 is 45-1. Can we take that banner down for a second? So they can see there we go. 45-1. Again, you're probably going to get a better number if you have the right to, if you can bet this somewhere. But if you can't and you want to have a little bit of fun and put $20 on it like I'm doing right now, go for it. Link is in the description if you want to get the sign up bonus. And actually what I'll do is this. I'll post this exact entry in the chat. YouTube's not going to ban me for that, are they? Did it come through? So that's in the chat. If you just want to copy that straight up, they're doing, do we have that banner? They're doing a $1,000 deposit match right now. It's bonkers. It's crazy. They're giving away money. I assume there's going to be like strokes and stuff added here, but I have not seen it. Oh, I should have boosted my entry. Well, now I got to do it again. I had a token that I didn't use. 31% profit boost. I got a couple of them. That's the other thing they're doing. They're doing a good job on that. All right. Anyway, links in the description. Check it out. The code is Rick. Everything you need. And also I put that entry in the chat as well. Is MM in the Masters with his win last week? Yes. Is he a good best debutant bet? Interesting. Or even as a lefty to win? Yeah, I mean, I obviously I don't know who else is going to be in there, but that's interesting. Yes, he is in the Masters. We used to fire up Taylor more often last season. Yeah, I know. It's not the same anymore. It's just not. He might not even be the best more in this field. I saw Ryan at the range when I was over there. This just stinks, man. And it stinks because he's like, I love this guy. He's such a talented player. So I don't know what happened. Such a talented player. Stinks. Not the same. Why is Daniel Berger going to win? The case for Daniel Berger is he is incredibly well-rounded and his pedigree is the best player in the field. That's the case for Daniel Berger. Okay. I'm going to put a pin in it there. All the information that you need is in the link in the description. Check it out, go through it, click it, see what's going on. If it's for you, if it's for not, whatever. Let's fill this splash contest up. There are now only 39 spots to go. Let's do that. I don't have any objections to anything. Such a harsh statement. I don't have any objections. We are going to be on a plane for 15 straight hours. Send me some stuff. I don't know, tweet at me. I'll read it. Maybe we'll do like a Q&A. I don't know. Maybe I'll sleep the whole time. They better have internet.
Over the ocean?
Oh my God, they don't have internet. I'm screwed. All right. Good day, or whatever they say. Next time you see me will be your Monday, my Tuesday, for a Zozo Championship preview of Japan from down under to you in America or wherever you are. It's a global game, baby, and we're all just living in it. Goodbye.